Our next special guest speaker is Saeed. Saeed from Nilin. Saeed, every day that he is struggling against Israeli apartheid, he's putting his freedom, his health, and even his life in danger. So please make him welcome for coming here today and sharing stories of the struggle on the ground.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you all so much, and I would like to express about my grateful and my honor actually to be attending here and to be presenting with you in this moment and to attend to the conference of Marxism 2012. It's really highly appreciated, and I feel much more honored, and there is no words enough to express about my enormous happiness for being here with you right now. As a second time for me actually to be outside Palestine. So, what I'm going to give you today is a brief introduction about my village. First, I'm a member of a local committee, a grassroots movement called Nilin Popular Committee that organizes non-violent demonstrations that we are hearing now all over West Bank against the Israeli apartheid wall and the illegal colonies on our land. But I'm not going to go through things that you can, read it in the news, because unfortunately what I'm going to talk about is something that is not mentioned in the daily news, because unfortunately the international media is always taking our cause on a high level of politics and ignore the everyday life and what's going on. And this is what I'm going to talk about tonight. But before I start, I just want to go briefly to make it much more clear how it started and how it turned in just a few minutes, and then I'll go forward. So, as all of you know that as a result of the British mandate, Palestine became under the Zionist terror gangs occupation, who started committing massacres, ethnic cleansing, catastrophe, expelling the people from their origin land to outside. And I'm actually one of the refugees. My family were expelled to Jordan in 1948. We came back in 1967, luckily after the UN resolution came and considered the West Bank as an area of under occupation. But still, I have the biggest part of my family is still in the refugee camps in Jordan. So we came back to a small village called Nilin. And actually part of their strategies, they began with the building of the illegal colonies on our lands, and recently the apartheid wall that we are resisting, which is all these are aiming for land grabbing and suppression for our very existence. So, and you could see how our land has started to disappear since 1946. Until right now, until we have nothing for the future. Every day they are grabbing more and more from our lands until we have nothing. So, our struggle, since 1967 until now, the Palestinians use different kinds of strategies of struggle, starting with armed resistance, which of course we are proud of it, until we reach the unarmed resistance, which is taking away of unarmed and non-violent, peaceful and non-violent way, especially in the last period, with much more mobilization than in the first Intifada. So, and my village, Nilin, that we came to, is one example of many other examples of many other villages around the West Bank that is using the non-violent resistance against the Israeli apartheid war in this period. I have been suffering a lot since 1967, actually. The Nilin is just about small village. It's located to the west of Ramallah, exactly at the border. It's about 27 kilometers from Ramallah. It's just exactly at the border of 1967, as you can see here. This is the border of 1967 that separates Israel from the West Bank. And the total inhabitants of my village was about 12,000, and now we are just 5,000. Most of the people were refugees now in Germany, in Jordan, other places in Palestine, in the refugee camps. And my village was having a total land of about 5,800 hectares from our lands. And now what we have is just 800 hectares. Most of our lands were grabbed by building 5 illegal settlements on our land that is starting with the northern side, Nili, that even stole the name of my village. And Kiryat Sefer, Madain Elite, Madat Yahu, Hashmunaim, and all these illegal settlements. Also an apartheid road called 446 that was built to connect Israel with the northern illegal settlements that were built on our lands and other villages' lands. And this apartheid road separated my village for 2 parts from the middle here. So there is another side on the other side that we have to take permits in order to approach it. So we have been struggling and suffering a lot against all these land grabbing and stealing of our lands by Israel. In 2004, they came back for the first time to build the apartheid wall on my village, which was supposed to be exactly in this area. So all the village went outside their homes, men, women, children. We were about 2,000. And we started to camp inside the fields. And we started to protest, and we succeed to stop them from digging the wall for 4 years, from 2004 until 2008. And we succeeded to save all these lands that were supposed to be confiscated. So they went. They went to other areas, and then they came back later in 2008, especially in the 27th of May 2008, with a new number of soldiers, with so much suppression that they were preparing for my village, because actually the start of the non-violent resistance again, because we were building this struggle in the first Intifada, and it was like an adventure to go back to this system of struggle in later 2003. And my village was one of the first villages that established a popular committee to resist against the apartheid wall. So they were so angry with it because it started to spread all over the West Bank from my village. So the suppressing, it was a peaceful protest, but the suppressing was completely something never happened to any other village, as in Elin. So before I start to explain about it, I just want to show you something, which is, if the wall, as they pretend always, and as they said, their propaganda is for security reasons, as they pretend, then they can build it at the border of 1967. If it is. But the reality is, Ariel Sharon had first issued that the wall is, they are going to build the wall in 1985. This is one point. And the other point, you can see that the wall is not even at the border of these illegal settlements that is outside the green line. It's even very far from this, which is stealing more and more land from sea area, because our village is located in sea area according to Oslo Accord, because the Palestinian lands are considered to be an A, B, C area. A area is under full control from the Palestinian Authority, half of B also under the Palestinian Authority, half of B and C areas under full control from Israel. So my village is completely ignorant. All these villages in C area is agriculture, most of the people are villagers. So by stealing the land, which is, as you can see here, this is the wall in 2008, which is stealing a lot of empty land. It's just to cut the source of income and existence for the people, so that the people don't have any reason to stay, and they will live in a silent way, under what's so-called a silence catastrophe. And this is what Israel is doing, trying to suppress our very existence. So when they came back in 2008, we started to coordinate. We established our popular committee with much more development than before. We started to coordinate with internationals and Israeli peace activists and media who started to join us. And we were going in our protest, as I'm going to show you in the video, to have much more clear imagination. We were going raising our hands, telling them, we want peace. This wall is not helping the process of peace. Just leave our lands alone. Then, just once we reached them, they started to shoot at us direct, and they stopped the first demonstration after 5 minutes from the beginning. But the thing that they were surprised from it, when they saw us coming every day for the first 2 years, from 9 o'clock in the morning until it's completely dark, protesting and stopping the bulldozers from digging on our land. I mean, we were going, putting our bodies under the bulldozers, telling them, kill us before you confiscate our land. And then we make their work become very slow. And then they started to suppress our village, starting with making curfew for 4 days without a break between the days, from the 5th of July 2008 to the 9th of July. You know what does curfew mean? They were coming in the middle of the morning at 4 o'clock where the people are asleep, start to shoot sound grenades everywhere to make everybody wake up, and shout in the speakers of their military jeeps telling the people that you are not allowed to go outside your houses. And everybody go outside his house, he will be shot or killed or arrested. So it came for 4 days without a break between the days at once. And the people, you know, they were also shooting live ammunition at the water barrels and the rooftops of the houses to make the people have no water besides having no food. As my village is considered to be central for another 7 villages around it, all the other 7 villages came to break the curfew on the 4th day. And in the same day, they opened live fire at the people, and they shot 3 people. The first one was in his back with live ammunition, and he stayed for 6 months in the hospital, and until now the life is still in his back, and another 2 in their legs. But at the end we succeed to break the curfew, and we continued our demonstrations. So during one of the demonstrations while we continued, in the 29th of July, while we were going, as usual, in a peaceful demonstrations, they started to shoot live ammunition direct at us. And then they shot the first child. His name is Ahmed Musa, he's 10 years old, in his head with live ammunition. At that time, I was close to Ahmed. I was 16 years old at that time. So I went to carry Ahmed because I saw him falling down, and I thought that, you know, he got shot or something happened to him. And when I tried to carry Ahmed, his brain fell from his head because the life blew off his brain. And then I fell down because it was the first time in my life to see a brain of a human being falling down in front of my hand. And all my other friends took him from me because it was very shocking for me. And then they sent him to the ambulance where he died in the same day. And you can see Ahmed here on the road of the wall before a few hours from getting killed, making the symbol of victory. And the next photo, his father is kissing him after he's dead in the hospital. So, and even in the Israeli propaganda, they are saying that Ahmed Musa was throwing stones when he got killed. He's just 10 years old. So I will not, it was not, you know, I was there. It was a peaceful protest, and I will show you how it is in the video. But let's say he was throwing stones. But what a 10 years old child can do with a stone against an Israeli soldier who's carrying an M16. So it's like shit. So, and their propaganda mustn't work anymore. So on the same day, to show them that we are not scared because they start to kill people, we made another demonstration against condemning what they did to Ahmed and against the apartheid wall in the next day. And in the next day, they shot another 17 years old guy, he's my cousin. His name is Yusuf Amira, he's 17 years old, in his head with 2 rubber bullets. You know, they call it rubber bullet in the news to make it easy in the imagination, but it's not. In fact, it's a big metal of live ammunition, and it could kill my cousin. As you can see him in the other photo, he died in a bed, died in the hospital, and we make his funeral on the 4th of August in 2008. So we began with 2 people who were killed in just peaceful protest, just to silence us and make us stop from protesting. But in the same time, they don't know that it's a decisive thing for us as the people of Nadim to continue our struggle, because we have already lost most of our lands. And if we stop from protesting, they will continue stealing more and more, and actually they are doing. So it was a decisive thing to continue the struggle, and we kept on. Also, another 3 people were killed, which is Arafat Khawaja, he's 22 years old, and Muhammad Khawaja, he's 18 years old, during a protest in solidarity with Gaza. Actually, my village was the first village in the West Bank that struggled in solidarity with Gaza Strip during the massacres that were held on Gaza, which is many people try to call it war in Gaza. In fact, it's not a war, because the word war is a word being used between country against country, army against army, not big, huge military state against innocent civilians. So the exact description should be massacre, or more exact, war against Gaza. So, and by killing 4 people, you know, it was just to silence us, because nothing can stop what's going on. But we kept on. And also, in the 5th of June 2009, they killed another 36 years old, Aqil Sroor, in his heart with a live ammunition that called 0.22 caliber, which exploded in the body when it touched the body. While he was trying to rescue a boy who was 16 years old, he got shot in his stomach with live ammunition by a sniper, Israeli sniper. And we became with 5 people. But the killing didn't work. We continued for war. And then they began with also night raids by arresting people from their homes. Starting with arresting my father and my English teacher, Mr. Hassan Musa, in the 6th of August for the first time. And my father was sent to a jail called Al Maskubiya, which is under the ground near Jerusalem. He was put in a small, dark, ugly room full of mice, insects, where they beat him so much and they humiliated him so much and they investigated him with a very brutal way to force him to sign on a paper which is full of false charges against the people who joined the protest, to succeed to arrest them under their own law, because every occupation has its own law. But my father stayed patient, and then he got released after about 1 month, and they started to punish him since that time, starting with making him pay a fine to be free of $2,000 and refusing his permit of work so that he became unemployed since that time. But they also arrested in 2008 and 2009 and 2010, they arrested about 350 persons from my village. Most of their ages are from 9 years old until 55 years old, but mainly children. And there is something here that all of you should know, which is, according to the Israeli law, the Palestinian children considered to be adults at the age of 12 years old. But the Israeli children considered to be adults at the age of 18 years old, even though they were arresting a lot of kids who are under 12 years old. In the beginning, they were coming with their military jeeps, surrounding our house, the houses, invading the house with a brutal way, putting the family in one room, and start to break the furniture and destroy the house, and then arresting the one who they considered them as wanted. And I was one of those also who got arrested. I got arrested in the 22nd of December 2008 while I was 17 years old, and I was released in the 22nd of April 2009. And I was doing my last year in the school, which is decisive year in our system of our study, that all your future depends on this year in the study. And I was in a scientific grade, my average was about 95%, and by arresting me, they were targeting to destroy my future, as a punishment also for my father, who is one of the organizers of our protest. Also, my other elder brother got arrested for 2 weeks, and my father later, 2010, he got arrested and he was sentenced for 2 years, and charged with incitement and organizing illegal demonstrations. You know, they want us to protest, to take permissions from them to protest against the confiscation of our lands, while they are stealing our lands. So, despite all this, the struggle went on, and then they started to see that to put checkpoints at the entrance of my village and checkpoint at the end of the village, and prevent the sorry, before I go to this, I just wanted to mention that in the beginning, after the people start to escape from their houses, because nobody wanted to be arrested during the night raids, they started to surround the village from all sides on foot and come at once and climb on the rooftops of the houses to snipe the people and to snipe everybody tried to escape from his house. There is one guy got shot in his neck with live ammunition, but luckily he survived. And another one, he's mentally ill with his brain. He started to shout at the soldiers, telling them, "Why you arrested my brother?" When they came to arrest his brother, he didn't do anything to you, just leave him alone. Then they shot him in his left eye with 2 rubber bullets, and he lost his left eye. As you can see, the 2 rubbers in his head here. So, and this is how we can see that how they can express about their democracy toward us. So they start to set up checkpoints and prevent the media and the internationals and the Israeli peace activists from being able to come inside the village. And then they started to bring the soldiers inside the village with a new unit of army that called snipers, with a new kind of live ammunition that called 0.22 caliber, which exploded in the body when it touched the body. And this kind of live ammunition is not only illegal by the international law, it is also illegal by the Israeli law itself. Even though they were putting these snipers on the rooftops of our houses to snipe everybody try to join the demonstration inside the village, even before the demonstration starts. So whenever they say this demonstration is illegal or this demonstration is violence, so how come they judge it as illegal or as violence while it is still inside the village and it didn't start yet? There is more than 55 persons from the village got shot in different places in their bodies. Among them, it was my sister who is 13 years old. She got shot in her hand. And also, they brought another kind of tear gas, which is the high velocity tear gas, which is called the rocket tear gas. This kind of tear gas is created from iron. I mean, it's about 4 kilograms. If you shoot it, the mission of the creation of this tear gas is to break walls. I mean, if you shoot it at this wall, it will break it direct. And it can go for more than 500 meters. You cannot see it, and you cannot hear the voice of it. They were using it direct at us, at unarmed protests. So there is 15 guys got shot in their bodies, and their bones got broken. And among them, 2 lost their jaw. And also, an American activist, his name is Tristan Anderson, he got shot in his head with this kind of tear gas, and he stayed for more than 1 year and a half in the hospital, and until now he cannot walk, he cannot talk, and he lost big part from his mind. And in the nearby village of Bil'in, there is one man, his name is Bassem Abu Rahma, got shot with this tear gas in his chest, and he died. And also another guy in last December 2011, he got shot with this tear gas in his head in the village of Nabi Saleh. His name is Mustafa Tamimi, and he died also during protest against the confiscation of our land, of course. So they were also shooting this tear gas at the windows of our houses to make it break the windows and go in, because this tear gas can burn the rooms. There is more than 12 houses were burned, and 8 women were miscarried as a result of inhaling this poison tear gas, because this tear gas is with a lot of chemical stuff, you know, withdraw the oxygen from your body. And I mean, when they were shooting at the houses, they were shooting as they are playing with a PlayStation. And all of the windows of our houses all over the village is like jails right now, full of barbed wire and stuff. But at the end, despite all what this did against us, we succeed. And especially after the murdering of Akil Sroor, the people became more determined, and we succeed to reach to the electronic fence, which was in the beginning electronic wall. And we succeed to cut it and reach our lands. And then they sent special forces undercover, looks like Palestinians, to arrest us with small guns, and they start to shoot at us. There's 2 guys got shot, and at the end, you know, they arrested 2 guys, not hundreds. So then they said that there is nothing work with the people of Ne'ilin. You know, we killed 5 people, we arrested hundreds, we shot hundreds, and nobody's giving up. Nobody's getting stopped. Then they decided to put an electronic fence, and after the electronic fence, a concrete wall, and after the concrete wall, barbed wire, to make us feel depressed, because it's 3 walls right now, and how we can cut it or tear it down. So, but the thing that they were surprised from it, when they saw us, despite everything, in the same memory of tearing Berlin Wall down, we succeed to tear down the concrete wall. After several attempts, for the first time in the West Bank, that something like this happened, to show them that we are people with a strong will and determination, and that we will never be defeated. So right now they have put in these circles, as you can see in the top, they have put iron to collect all the concrete walls together to make them like one piece, so nobody can push it anymore. But we started to do another thing, which is burning wheels and throwing water to make the concrete become raw and make holes in the wall. And now the wall is full of holes. And later in 2010, they began with the arresting of the leaders of the Popular Committee, which is my father and Mr. Hassan Musa and Zaydun Sroor, and they were sentenced for 2 years, as I told you before. And also they began with the refusing of the permits of the workers, so that the rate of the unemployment increased to more than 75%. In my village itself, according to our municipality, just, you know, now the people have no more lands, we are farmers, having no more work, then they will leave for no reason. But still, it was in the beginning a daily demonstration, and now it's still a weekly demonstrations. And actually, it was yesterday there was a demonstration. There was one guy got shot under his in his face. And now they are building for a tunnel that will expand until it reaches the entrance of my village, because they want to set a checkpoint at my village, opening at 6 o'clock in the morning and close at 6 o'clock in the morning, where we will be isolated in small cantons inside the village. But our belief as popular committees is that we believe that there is no wall has ever worked or succeeded all over the world. Even as you know, the wall of Berlin has fallen. And this wall will fall. And there is no occupation have ever succeeded or continued all over the world. You know, if all the occupations were ended, and this occupation will end, even the occupation in Ireland stayed for more than 1,000 years, and it was ended at the end. And before I close, I just want to show you a brief video of 5 minutes so that you can have much more clue about how it is, how it looks like.
Someone want to flick the lights? Tess, turn off the lights.
So this is the first day when they start to build the wall. You can see how many bulldozer and how many military jeep protect every bulldozer, and how many soldiers. You can see how many soldiers. So if they are doing something fine, why they have all the number of these soldiers around every bulldozer? And this was our first demonstration. So once we approached, the soldiers start to get ready to suppress the demonstration. On the other side, we are telling them that this wall is not for security reasons as you pretend. It will not bring you security. And we are raising our hands. If you can look at the people, we are doing like this. And look at what they will do. This is another demonstration. You can see how their violence against us also. You can see the man who is filming is telling them in Hebrew, "Mitsalmi mutcha, mitsalmi mutchim," which means we are filming you, we are filming you. But they don't care anymore because they are sure that they have strong propaganda to defend them always. You can see this guy, he's 17 years old, he was just standing from 1 meter, they shot him in his two legs with 2 rubber bullets and the 2 rubbers entered inside his 2 legs while he was doing nothing, he was just standing. This is another demonstration how we succeed to fire away the bulldozers from our land. This is how we go to protest. This is my English teacher, Mr. Hassan Musa, one of the leaders of the committee was arrested in 2010. He's telling the soldier here to kill him because he prefers to die instead of seeing his land being confiscated by the occupation. He's saying in Hebrew language now, "Ani rotzeh shalom, ani rotzeh shalom," which means I want peace, I want peace. To you and to us, he starts here. And then no to the wall. Listen to what he says. If you can hear what he say peace which can give everything to us. He's telling the soldiers. Can give us security, freedom. This is, I think they should convince your army leader that this is a land grab. It will never give you security. He's telling them the wall in Berlin has fallen and this wall will fall down. And here my father on this side, they say that they don't want to listen to us. They just want to kill us and confiscate our lands. This is what they know. This is what they teach them. To kill the people and confiscate their lands. And for this video, because there is something very important that I want to show you. And first, you have to know that many people mask their faces because they don't want to be filmed, not because we are afraid of something. Because they film us, the soldiers, and then they come to arrest us in the night. But this demonstration, which was during the demonstration in solidarity with Gaza, where they killed Muhammad and Arafat. And what I'm showing you is not because, like, out of respect for the people who get killed, no. It's because there is something, a duty for me to show you. I'm showing you my friends. I'm not showing you people who I don't know. But there is something that I want to show in this video, where the first man who got shot in his leg with live ammunition before they killed Muhammad and Arafat. This is Muhammad Khawaja who got shot in his head with live ammunition. And this is Arafat who got shot in his back and he died in the same day. And this is what I want to show you and then focus on. That's why I show the video. You can see Muhammad and Arafat. This is not an ambulance that they were put in. It's a normal car. Because actually the Israeli soldiers, they put a checkpoint at the entrance of my village and they prevented the ambulance from coming in. So we tried to send them to the ambulance because they are bleeding and they are about to die. And then they start to shoot at the car also, when we tried to send them. And after more than half an hour, until these two guys finished all the blood from their bodies, then they allowed the ambulance to come, after they got killed. Look. And this is actually my family house. On this side you can see my father, because my family was one of the first families that succeed to stop the soldiers from climbing on the rooftops of our houses to put the snipers. So my mother, my sisters, my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, we all stand on the stairs and start to prevent them from climbing on the roof. And then they start to shoot sound grenades at us. My 10-year-old sister got shot in her leg, but luckily they couldn't manage to do it. So look. He said, the commander said, if you want to use the power, I will show you what kind of power we have. You can see now also how they tried to snipe my father, as they did to Tristan inside the village. And they shoot at him the tear gas, and he just make like this by accident. And the tear gas crossed from his front. Look, so the tear gas is not for tear gas, it's for killing people. Also, they were shooting this kind of tear gas that shoot more than 32 tear gas at once, and it make like a cloud in the ground at us. This is when we tear down the concrete wall the second time. And before I close, I just want to say a few moments. Of course, our movement, our non-violent movement, have been one of the most successful strategies of struggle that the Palestinians have ever used. And we gathered a very big success on the ground and on the international world, starting from stopping the building of the apartheid wall in Budrus village, and they put the wall on the border of 1967, saving a lot of part of our land in Nailin 2004, and in the last 2 years in Bil'in village, after 6 years of struggle and non-violent resistance, they removed the wall from their land. The soldiers, the Israeli government came and they destroyed the wall that they built by their own. So, and our struggle, and our belief that as Palestinians together, the Palestinian people with the international community, we can end the occupation in Palestine, as the international community could end the apartheid system in South Africa, which is having a lot of similarities with our situation. We can end it by pushing on Israel and forcing it to end its occupation, as it happened at that time. And with our movement also that have a lot of inspirations all over the world. Because this movement, have even in the recent time with the Arab Spring that was inflicted by the Palestinian non-violent resistance, actually, you could see how this kind of struggle removed a lot of dictatorial regimes too. Yeah. So, and our movement have a lot of inspirations from the beginning, from a lot of leaders of this non-violent resistance movement that could end a lot of occupations, like the British occupation in India that was ended with a non-violent resistance that was held by Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Steve Biko, Nelson Mandela. And there are always two most sentence famous that I always bring it to the people, which is inspiring me personally also, when Nelson Mandela said, "Our march to freedom is irreversible, so we mustn't allow our fears to stand in our way." And when Steve Biko said also, "It's better to die for an idea that will live forever than live for an idea that will die." So this is the most exact time for the international community to put all the fears away and help us to take real actions to help us to end this occupation, because the biggest, all the world is joined in this. The biggest part of your tax go to support this occupation, to buy weapons to kill us every day. So this is the critical time, Israel is losing, because, first America is collapsing in an economical situation, the Arabic Spring that is making America and Israel losing their biggest partners, and the big problem of the Israeli society, the Israeli government itself, which is with its own society, starting from the July 14th movement that is asking for their social justice, not for us of course, but it's helping us in a way, because all this money is going out, that come for Israel to build the new walls and colonize more land. But so this is what it's time for the international community to take this real stance to help us to end this occupation until we achieve real peace and freedom and equality, and everybody live in this forever and all over the world, as we should. And thank you very much.